Let's kind of take a look at the melody, because to make these things that I'm gonna show, sometimes parts of the melody get on the way, and we will, ask for Jobim's permission to jiggle things a little bit in order to have a groovy version. What happens to play solo guitar or make these arrangements, and that's an important thing. If you're writing something down, that's the time to write it down. The way we have access to these songs, it's lead sheet format, right? You have melody and chords written, right? That's kind of how we have access to them. So we have the chart with chords and melody. That's kind of how we have access to these songs, right? And most of the times, these melodies are pretty much showing or informing the lyrics. Like the rhythm of the notes are really tied with the lyrics of the song. That's particularly one reason that some of the American versions of these songs are played a bit off from the original Brazilian way of doing it, because the lyrics in English version of the lyrics change the rhythms of this stuff, right? And that's not good for us to play. And then people get used to the real book version of that, which comes from whatever lyrics in English or whatever instrumental song, and then you have a conflict with the original melody, which was designed a certain way because the lyrics informed the way the melody goes. So, triste is another example, right? Triste é viver na solidão. Right, that's the lyrics. And then you have this. Right, the melody goes that way. And most of the times, if you would sort of interpret that lead sheet, you should be taking that in account. Meaning, there's someone singing the lyrics, and there is someone playing the harmony or something, right? Someone is singing, or someone is playing and singing at the same time, right? That happens a lot. So the fact that that's kind of how you should interpret the songs, like you should be playing yourself, right, and singing the lyrics, right? Triste é viver na solidão, a dor cruel de uma paixão. I think that's how the lyric goes. So they are kind of like two different things. The lyrics and the guitar, usually someone else is playing, or either you accompany yourself or singing the lyrics. But when you are, and here's the point now, when you are making a guitar arrangement, you have to do everything, right? You have to play the melody, you have to play the groove, you have to play the chords, you have to play the bass, you have to do everything. And here's the approach that I am bringing. Luckily, you start getting some of that, is you have to make the melody work for you a little bit, work for the groove, and sometimes if the melody is disrupting a little bit the flow of the groove, I will alter the melody a little bit, the rhythm of it, So example of that particular beginning, if I read as it is, it will sound like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, something like that. So you see that anticipation in the melody because of the Triste viver na solidão. So that melody is written this way because of the lyrics. If I am playing that in this guitar arranging, I will probably not have that anticipation and just start on the second beat. 1. I will play like this, like 1 and 2. I'll probably play like this instead of playing. I'll play. Right? Things like that. Those really fine-tuning things when you have a melody and you want to bring that to a guitar solo versions, you have to take these things in account. Another thing that I keep telling my students when they are assembling this stuff is the triplet is not our friend. Unfortunately, I love triplets, but to groove and samba, the triplet is not our friend. The triplet by design is supposed to give you that floaty, right, kind of upbeat, kind of over the top feel, and that's not good for a groove. When you want to keep that train going, I always refer as the train, right? It doesn't stop, because when you're playing this, this can't stop, at least the way I do it and the way I teach people. Like, that's the train doesn't leave, it doesn't arrive to the station, just keep going. If you have a triplet, the triplet is not our friend. I'll show an example of, and I was telling this week for a student of mine who was working on a inútil paisagem, useless landscape, another beautiful Jobim tune, which is like, right, that beautiful song. If I'm playing in a samba fashion, bossa, the triplet already broke the whole thing. I can't physically perform this groove with that triplet. I have to stop the groove, I can't. See, I can't do it. I can't play the groove and the triplet. So the triplet is supposed to get that effect, this floaty thing. So here we have ba ti 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 ta. So I stop the groove. So back to the groove, triplet. So see, it's designed for that. There is a way to overcome that. And that's what I teach my students as well. You have to replace the triplet for what I call the Brazilian syncopation figure. It's basically the 16 note figure. Da, 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 di, da, da, da. So instead of playing di, da, di, da, da, as a triplet go dum, ba, di, da, da. Listen how that particular spot becomes more going forward and moving with the groove if I substitute or replace the triplet for that. So one more time. You see, the train kept going. If I just do the triplet, I have to stop the groove and then replace that. So I'm saying all this because on Triste, you have a spot with triplets, and that's like, oof, that's not our friend there. So you go. That's the triplet, right? Triplets all the way. If I want to play the triplets, the groove is gonna go. It's just as simple as that. If I want to do you see, I had to let the groove go here, right? I can put a chord here and there, but ultimately I have to stop the groove because I can't keep going, because the triplet has by design this feeling of floatiness, like this sort of flowing around, so it doesn't vibe with the groove. So you have to take the groove out, the samba thing. If you want to overcome that, you have to replace the triplet for that figure I was talking about. Replace the triplet for the 16/8 16 note instead of now you're gonna have and then you can tie them, right? Or something like that. See, I already can do it. I usually stop at that moment. I put a 16 note there as well, a sequence of 16 notes. So I can continue a certain movement, a sense of keep the groove going. That will be the effect. So that will be sort of the effect that I'll get there if I play slow. triplet, you see that the triplet by design, gives you this kind of pullback feel. So that's a thing about Tristi to take into account. The triplet there, replace that with the syncopation figure helps the flow.